to this beat.
Welcome to another episode of Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. I am your man, Captain Will. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe to Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will so I can continue to bring you that gospel of Gamecocks every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, family, fams, lieutenants, you are now rocking with the best. And since you're rocking with the best, come rock with your man, Captain Will. We got a good one today, y'all. We have a good one today, y'all. We are recapping the big victory over the Florida Gators last night. We're going to talk about where we stand after 13 games for the season. Gamecocks 13-0. Gamecocks 13-0, 1-0 in SEC play. Where do we stand statistically as a basketball team as we move forward in SEC play and take on Mississippi State in a big game on ESPN at 1:00 p.m.? Last night's game was what we thought a Carolina team is supposed to look like. Last night's game, we were completely engaged. We shocked the system of the Florida Gators, whose big synapses, their big game time strategy is to outrun the Gamecocks for 40 minutes. Bad strategy, coaches. Bad strategy. Don't put yourself in a situation where you trying to outrun the Gamecocks. Because last time I checked, you ain't got no Molly in the training room. You don't have none of those horses in the barn that can run with the Gamecocks. So that strategy was terrible. And we talk about last night's victory. We have to discuss the guard play for Carolina. This is what South Carolina envisioned when you start Raven. You have Te-Hina Paopao transferring over. You have Bree Hall doing Bree Hall things. This is what you wanted. This is what we needed as Gamecock fans and a Gamecocks alum. This is what we wanted. So when you have a situation where you have a Raven Johnson, lead point guard, the assist getter, the Hollywood herself, coming out aggressive, had 10 points in the first quarter, finished up with 16 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals. You know you are stirring something up in Carolina basketball. Then you have Te-Hina Paopao, who came out 4 for 4 at the 3-point line, finished off with 17 points. Finished off with 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 steal. Something is cooking, y'all. And then you got Bree Hall, who's been balling out the last 7 games of this season. Finished up with 15 points, 4 rebounds, 2 for 3 from the 3-point line. The Gamecocks stood on business last night and showed the country why they have the best 3-guard rotation in college basketball. There's none no better. There's none no better than Raven Johnson, Te-Hina Paopao, and Bree Hall. None. And then when they want to take a break, you got Fulwiley, you got Tessa Johnson coming in. Tessa Johnson, 6'1". Tessa Johnson looked about 6'2" to me. She looked like about 6'2" to me. MiLaysia Fulwiley, you already see what she does. You see what she does. There ain't no basketball team across the land that have the guard depth that South Carolina has. You talking about 5 5-star recruits at the guard position. There ain't nobody else who has that. None. No one else has that depth of talent and scoring ability to defend, all those things that we have at South Carolina. Florida, is a good basketball team. They're ranked 43rd according to the net ranking. They'll probably be in the tournament this year, but they were just outgunned. They was outgunned. They brought a night to a gunfight, and you can't do that against South Carolina Gamecocks. They can't do that. And I just look for this team to continue to grow. I look for this team to continue to compete, and I look for this team to continue to put pressure on all the college basketball teams out there, all of them, regardless of what these other teams are doing. We are a matchup problem for every one of them, including UCLA. UCLA can't run with us. They got really good size. They got a special player at the center position They got experience, but it's just hard for me to fathom, hard for me to see a situation where we are not the favorite in every basketball game that we will play this year. Could it be because we're number one? Could it be because we're just that much better than the rest of the teams? I don't know what it is, but this team right here is so special, so special. So special. And it begins with a net ranking. South Carolina is still number one in net ranking. 14 strength of schedule. 14 strength of schedule, which means we ain't playing no cupcakes. We ain't playing no cupcakes. We are bringing the pain to everybody that plays us. That strength of schedule will actually go up again when we play Mississippi State, because Mississippi State is a talented basketball team. They are a talented basketball team. They come into Colonial Life Arena, where our winning streak is like forever. They coming to us to play, and they coming to us to win the basketball game. And they're, I want to say, 33rd, 35th in the country in terms of net ranking. So they're a talented basketball team, and we're going to talk more about Mississippi State tomorrow in the pregame show. But they are in a situation where this would be the best game they played, the best team they played all season. So we will see how they step up to the plate. But at the end of the day, the South Carolina Gamecocks are 6-0 versus teams that are ranked in the top 50. 6-0. 6-0. That is an outstanding record against quality teams, because half of the teams that we played have been in the top 50, y'all. Top 50. This is not the strength of schedule of some of the other teams that we might face in the future. We're having a 169th or 212th type strength of schedule, where we don't know how good those teams are because they haven't really played anyone. This is South Carolina, who continually play top-rated teams, thus the 14th ranked strength of schedule. Offensive rating, we're 8th in the country. 8th in the country in terms of offensive rating. Pace of play. Our pace of play went up last night because Florida decided to run with us, and we actually are the 25th ranked team in terms of pace of play. Field goal percentage offensively, we're second in the country. Second in the country. Last night, we shot 50% from the field. 50% from the field is actually down a little bit. From what we normally do, but we still number 2 in the country in terms of field goal percentage. 2-point percentage, we're 16th in the country. 16th in the country, field goal and 2-point percentage. 3-point percentage, we're 3rd in the country, averaging about 41.5%. 3rd in the country shooting the 3-point basket. You got Te-Hina Paopao, who is shooting. Te-Hina Paopao is shooting 56% from the 3-point line. 56% for the 3-point line. You got Raven Johnson shooting 41%. Bree Hall shooting 44%. Tessa Johnson shooting 39%. This is why we are one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country. This is why we are 3rd ranked in the nation shooting a 3-point basket. This is why we are different this year than the previous teams that we've had, because we are elite at the 3-point basket. Free throw percentages, we are right now 301st in terms of three-point free throw at the free throw line. We increased that from last night because we shot about 86-87% from the free throw line. Very, very great at the free throw line last night. Unbelievable. And I think averages are going to weigh out in the future. But I think the key last night was we had players who could actually hit those free throws that went to the line. So you had Chloe was 3 for 4. You had Bree Hall with 3 for 4. Raven Johnson was 4 for 4 from the free throw line. Te-Hina Paopao 1 for 1. Tessa Johnson 2 for 2. If you get the players that can actually hit free throws to the free throw line, we will have a great percentage. That is what it is. That is what it is. What will happen in this season is that we have not been the players that actually shoot a great percentage don't get to the free throw line. And the players that shoot a bad percentage, a poor percentage, have been constantly going to the free throw line. What brings our percentage down is a player like Ashlyn Watkins who can do so many great things offensively and defensively, but shoots poor at the free throw line. She's shooting about 47% from the free throw line. So I think our percentages, if we continue to play the way we play, and our guards get to the free throw line, those percentages will continue to go up as the season goes along. And it would be great for those percentages to continue to go up as we get into the bulk of our schedule. SEC play is what matters. SEC play is what matters. That is the reason for the season, for us to get that regular season SEC championship, for us to win the SEC tournament and move on into March Madness. So I'm not saying we're going to shoot 87% from the free throw line every game. I'm not going to say that whatsoever. But if you see the bulk of our free throws coming from the guards, the 1, the 2, the 3 position, and Kamilla Cardoso shooting about 71% from the free throw line herself, you're gonna see that percentage continue to creep up. Let's keep in mind how we do at the free throw line on Sunday against Mississippi State. Assists per game, we're 8th in the country in terms of assists per game. You can say that's the Raven Johnson factor. You can say that's the Te-Hina Paopao factor. MiLaysia Fulwiley, all 3 players are getting a lot of assists. Hence why we're 8th in the country for assists. Fewest turnovers. Now, last night we had 18 turnovers. We had 18 turnovers last night. And we're ranked 50th in the country out of 360 teams in terms of taking care of the ball. That has to be better, because last night, before going into last night's game, we averaged about 14 turnovers a game. Well, we had 18 last night. That's not good. Now, the quality of competition is going to pick up. Is it going to pick up? Because we're already playing the 14th ranked schedule in the country. So we'll see how that balances out. But I tell you this right here. We don't need no 18 turnovers in any basketball game that South Carolina plays, regardless if we win by 23 points, 43 points. We don't need that at all. Assist to turnover rate is always solid because we get a bunch of assists, and the turnovers, it still balances out. So, and I mentioned this before. I look more at the assist to turnover rate than the actual turnovers. So we're 14th in the country in terms of assist to turnovers rates, which means that we get the assists divided by the turnover. So we at 14th in the country, and that is a great metric. For me, it's a great metric in terms of how you actually take care of the ball and how you actually finish the basket on the offensive end. I love the assist to turnover rate, and it's just exceptional. And that's led with Raven averaging 6 assists and 2 turnovers. She has a 3-to-1 assist to turnover rate. You know what's good? 2-to-1. 2-to-1 is a good assist to turnover rate. Well, Raven Johnson's 3-to-1, which is exceptional. As your lead point guard, this is what you need. In terms of defense. South Carolina is number 1 in the country as we continue to move on in the season. Number 1 in the country in terms of defensive rating. Number 1 in the country in terms of field goal percentage allowed. Number 1 in the country, which means that we are the best that does it. Number 1 in 2-point percentage allowed. That is South Carolina basketball. Number 1 in defensive rating. Number 1 in field goal percentage. Number 1 in 2-point percentage allowed. Okay. Number 28 in defending the 3. All exceptional numbers, which show how good of a defense South Carolina actually is. You have the number 8 ranked offensive team in the country, the number 1 ranked defensive team in the country. You know what that means? That we're the best all-around team in the country. Also factor in the 14th ranked strength of schedule. Means that we are hitting on all cylinders offensively, all cylinders defensively, which means that we are a great basketball team. Not because of our 13-0 record, because you have teams across the land that have undefeated seasons. You have teams across the land that may have lost one basketball game. But some of those teams that have those undefeated records, some of those teams that maybe have lost 1 game, possibly 2 basketball games, don't have the equivalency of playing 6 teams that's in the top 50 and defeating all of them. They don't have that quality top 15 strength of schedule. They don't have that. So you have to put a lot of credence. You have to put a lot of effort. You have to put a lot of energy when you say that you are the number 1 defensive team playing the 14th best schedule. When you say you are the 8th ranked offensive team playing the 14th best schedule, when you play 6 teams in the top 50, those stats matter. Those stats matter to Captain Will. Steals a game. We're 58th in the country right now in terms of steals per game. We're not elite at stealing the basketball. We have some players that are playing at an elite level still in the basketball. I mean, Raven Johnson's averaging 3 steals a game. She's averaging 3 steals a game. MiLaysia Fulwiley is averaging 2 steals a game. But overall, we are above average team in terms of steals per game. But in totality, I think that we can get a little bit better in taking those steals. And it is what it is. Because sometimes we go for the steals and we might commit a foul. But I'm happy. I'm happy in that regard of where we stand at 58th in the country in terms of stealing the basketball. Block shots, number 1. As long as Coach Dawn Staley and the way they recruit, we're going to always be number 1 blocking the basketball. And come on. I mean, we're averaging about 10 block shots a game. 10 block shots a game. And when you have Kamilla Cardoso, who's averaging over 3 blocks a game, you have Ashlyn Watkins, who's averaging over 3 blocks a game. You talk off the bench. You got Fulwiley, who averaging about a block and a half per basketball game at the point guard position. This is South Carolina basketball, y'all. This is South Carolina basketball. And after 13 games, we go through the stats of the players that play over 15 minutes per game, over 15 minutes a game. And you start Raven Johnson, who averaging the most minutes per game for South Carolina, averaging 28 minutes a game, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, 2 turnovers, 54% from the field goal line, field goal range, 41% from the 3, 65% from free throws, having a very solid, very good SEC season. You talk about Bree Hall, who's been playing outstanding, like I mentioned, over the last stretch, averaging 26 minutes a game, 10 points, 3 rebounds, shooting 47% field goal percentage, 44% from the 3, 67% from the free throw line. Kamilla Cardoso is a walking double-double, y'all. She's a walking double-double, 25 minutes a game, 14 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists per game, 3 block shots, 2 turnovers a game, 62% from field goal, and 71% from the free throw line. That's Kamilla Cardoso, averaging 25 minutes and averaging a double-double, 14 and 11. Okay? Those are sensational numbers. And Te-Hina Paopao averaging about 26 minutes a game, 12 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 turnovers, shooting 52% field goal percentage, 56% from the 3-point line, 73% from the free throw line. Te-Hina Paopao has had a sensational, unbelievable season so far for the South Carolina Gamecocks. She's a walking bucket. You have to defend her starting out at half court because she can hit the 3 from anywhere on the court. And MiLaysia Fulwiley, the super freshman who was 13th ranked in her recruiting class in the class of 2023, averaging 19 minutes a game, 12 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 turnovers, about a block and a half, shooting 47% from the field, 30% from the 3, and 70% from the free throw line. MiLaysia Fulwiley is just scratching the surface, just a little edge, just a little nipple, just got a toe in the water of how great she's going to be offensively and defensively. I think over the course of 4 years, MiLaysia Fulwiley going to end up being a terrific defensive player. And she's grown a lot through this season in terms of defense. We've seen that. Her defensive efficiency has improved throughout the season. I just continue to talk about and continue to love how she is growing as an all-around player. You're talking about Ashlyn Watkins. Ashlyn Watkins is putting in work. She's playing 18 minutes a game. 18 minutes a game, averaging 9 points, 7 rebounds, 3 blocks, shooting 58% from the field. 58% from the field, 47% from the free throw line, okay? So her minutes are very similar. This is the thing to watch. Her minutes are very similar to what Kamilla Cardoso averaged last year as a backup. Her numbers are very similar to Kamilla Cardoso last year. She's almost averaging a double-double in 18 minutes of play. Okay, so you're going to see, much like we've seen the numbers jump for Kamilla Cardoso this year from last year. Look at it, knocking down the mic. This year from last year, you're going to see the same thing for Ashlyn Watkins next year. Same thing. When her minutes increase, she's going to be a walking double-double next year, her junior year, and her senior year as well. You know, I love me some Ashlyn Watkins and the defensive intensity that she has. I love it. And finally, we talk about Tessa Johnson, who's getting more minutes as the season continues. She's averaging about 16 minutes a game now. Last night, she played 20 minutes. She's averaging 6 points, 47% from the field, 39% from three, averaging 78% from the free throw line. Now, last night she was 0 for 3 from three-point basket, but we know what Tessa can do at the three-point line. We know what she can do, okay? So expect this from Mississippi State on Sunday. Tessa Johnson has a very good game shooting the basketball. But what I'm liking more and more about Tessa Johnson is Tessa Johnson played point forward in high school, okay? Last night, there were times where Tessa was running the point. She's 6'1". She's 6'1", 6'1.5", handling the point position. She can handle the ball. She plays really good defense. She's long. She's athletic. She's fast. Okay. Tessa Johnson, mark my words, ladies and gentlemen, mark my words. You are going to see a great player blossom before our eyes. She was a 25th ranked recruit in the class of 2023. Okay. She was a Minnesota Miss Basketball, Gatorade Player of the Year, McDonald's All-American, 5-star recruit. I think when it's all said and done, we are going to see a player in Tessa Johnson who outplays her recruiting ranking. Mark my words. She will outplay her recruiting ranking. This concludes another episode of Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. I'm your man, Captain Will. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe to Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will so I can continue to bring you that gospel of Gamecocks every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now rocking with the best. And since you're rocking with the best, come rock with your man, Captain Will. Let's go. Let's go.